Let me start the recording. Okay, I will make you the presenter.
I've used WebEx quite a bit. This is the first time I've used GoToMeeting.
Okay, you should now be able to share your screen with us. There's a little play button in the control panel for GoToMeeting that allows you to show my screen.
Okay. Okay, can you guys see my screen or?
Yep.
Yes.
Awesome, great.
Okay. Well, how's everybody doing?
Good, thank you.
And I see we have Cindy and John Everett. And hey, David, how are you?
I'm
Hello?
doing fine.
Hello? Okay. Okay. And I open up the wrong presentation. What I'm going to be talking about in particular, I've been experimenting with Android devices, not so much the tablet, but these little Android. Sometimes they are called smart sticks of dongles, and I'm going to be talking about those devices and the possibility of using them as a cheap computer replacement. And is anybody familiar with the with Android smart sticks or Android dongles?
Nope.
Okay.
I am not either.
And guys, bear with me because I'm bumbling. I really thought I had more time to prepare. Well, a little bit more time to prepare. So please forgive me. Normally, I'm not this bad in terms of being my preparation. So while you guys waiting on me, do anybody have any good news you could share?
Thanksgiving is coming up. That should be something good if you're on good terms with your family.
I think I am most times. Alcorn has went through a lot of changes since our China trip. Dr. McAfee is no longer with the university. Who I've been working with and who's on the board of ADEC. Okay. Okay, as I was saying, I've been experimenting with these devices that I think could serve as inexpensive devices. In some instances, could actually be a replacement for a desktop computer. And I'm actually holding one in my hand right now. And And this is what one version of the device look like a large flash drive. This larger one is another version of it, which is have a little bit more horsepower. And I'm going to see if I could share my computer screen. So can you see my computer screen?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
This one here? I don't know if you could tell. It kind of looked like if you have an Android smartphone. That's what the screen kind of looked like. And what you see is actual apps I have on there. And with the larger one, I have it actually attached to my computer monitor. And I've been using it for about a year to determine how computer-like in terms of apps that I can put on it and actually use it as a computer replacement. And I can do a lot of things just like with a smartphone that I could do with a full Windows desktop or Apple computer by putting an app on it that would allow me to open any Office application, PowerPoint, Word, PDF, even the capability to edit. Of course, it has internet access. It has capability. This particular one I have does not have a built-in webcam, but you can plug in a USB webcam to it to give you the same kind of functionality as a laptop or a computer that has a webcam attached. So with the advances in Apple and Android computer devices, manufacturers are actually starting to configure, in particular, Android tablet devices and Android computer devices, similar to this one here, in desktop configurations. And these are two that I actually just pulled off the web. This is the Nexus 7 configured with a Bluetooth keyboard and mouse, where it gives that functionality of a desktop or laptop configuration. And Best Buy is actually selling this Android bundle with peripherals for about $100. And this is a complete Android desktop computer. And it would, connected, it would look very similar to what I just showed you on my monitor. And this is just another configuration of Android desktop computer. This is an HP Slate, 21-inch monitor. This one is touchscreen. The Android computer is built into the display in an all-in-one configuration, and you see here the price is right at $300. So this to give you an idea of the connections and the port configuration. What you're seeing now is one of the ones I actually have, and it comes with a full USB port. It has a mini USB power connector, mini SD card slot, and this port right here is a mini USB port. So this configuration, it has a HDMI plug that's attached to the dongle, where you can plug it into a HDMI-ready computer monitor or the HDMI port on your television. So you can actually turn, I know you guys are familiar and heard about smart TVs. So you can use this device and turn an existing television that has HDMI connectivity into a smart television. I paid $45 for this particular device. The larger one here, I paid $95 for this one. This one comes with more connectivity. It actually has an Ethernet port on it where I can actually plug it in to my Ethernet network here. HDMI connectivity for display. And I'm currently converting my HDMI on this one to DVI to connect to my monitor. And you can actually plug into the USB port. You can actually plug in a full-size keyboard and full-size mouse to either one of these, the small dongle here of the big device. Do anyone have any questions about these things? You said you wasn't familiar with them, and my thinking is in terms of small farmers that the smaller devices actually have come with 8 gigs of memory storage built in on the device. More memory can be added by way of a SD card. So content can be loaded onto this device, textbooks, any type of text content, video as well, and this device can be then, even for distance education can be delivered with all the content information on it, and for a very nominal cost, a means of assimilating information. So, that's been my thinking, and one of my reasons for experimenting with it is to see how functional they are, how user-friendly, and how flexible in terms of being able to adopt it into a computer configuration for end-user use.
Felton, have you found anything that you're disappointed that it can't do, or any problems?
In terms of the limitations, again, it's functionality-wise, it's virtually the computer that's inside a smartphone. So because it's not a full Windows computer environment, so in that within itself, there are some limitations. Even the one that I spent a little more on that has a little bit more horsepower, it still does not have the robustness in terms of speed as a full Windows desktop computer, a laptop. But I'm able to pull up a document and edit and create documents almost as easily if I was using a laptop, or similar to the Google Chromebooks, if you're familiar with those. Chromebooks are virtually an Android laptop as well. They're a little bit more expensive, and so my thinking in a situation where you're trying to deliver information and you're trying to be cost effective, and you still need something that has some ease of use, And with most people having access to smartphones, this would be something that they maybe have some familiarity with. And then it's cheap.
So Felton, this is Dave.
Hey, Dave. Hey, Dave.
Did you, maybe I missed this, but what about Wi-Fi internet access?
Yes. Yeah. They all come with built-in Wi-Fi. They don't come with data plans, but they do come with built-in Wi-Fi.
So, but they don't come with a data plan, but you could use that, or is the only internet access through the Wi-Fi?
Well, with the dongle that I'm holding, this one here, internet access is strictly Wi-Fi. But with the larger one, it actually has a Ethernet port on the back, but no data plan. You dependent on access to some type of internet connectivity.
It's Android phone-like operations, but as of yet, Sprint or AT&T or the rest of them haven't offered data plans that would run through that.
Yeah, you would have to move to something like the Nexus Android tablets that you can purchase through Sprint or AT&T that you can get with data plans, and that normally makes the device a little bit more expensive.
Right, certainly on a monthly basis. What happens? What kind of response have you gotten when you start talking about anything to clients?
What was that again?
What kind of response are you getting when you talk to folks out in the field about possibly using some devices like this?
Well, I did a presentation to our Ag Extension program, to our Ag Extension officers, and they think there's some possible uses for it in terms of loading it, preloading it with information, and providing it to small farmers, even if they have to give them access to if they don't have the proper type of display to plug it into. But in terms of outfitting, say, like a kiosk situation around the device, they see it as something that has some possibilities. And then they were interested in how they can purchase one to give to the kids. The other thing also in terms of we talked about in our Ag Extension centers in terms of cost in setting up several of these like kiosks again, to where people could come in and pull up content for learning situations instead of buying full-fledged computers for about $100. You know, they could set up several of these instead of paying out $800 for actual workstations.
This is Oliver. If you have Wi-Fi connectivity, that also means that you could use cloud storage for a lot of storing information in the cloud and obtaining it from there instead of having to have a large data storage locally, right?
are they basically Android based from some major provider, or who makes them, and how are they? Where are they in circulation?
Well, initially the first two I bought, they were from companies out of China that I had, you know, I didn't even know if I was going to get them when I initially purchased them, because it took so long, and they were generic. But now Dell makes a version of it, of the device. I think HP makes a version, and I think now Google is actually making their own version of the dongle. Initially, Google was doing something called Google Television, which wasn't a full-fledged OS. It was just for connecting to the internet and to view YouTube and videos and those kinds of things. But now Google actually makes Android PCs that are full-fledged Android PCs, just like you would find on a smartphone. I've set up. I have about 5 digital signs on campus, and in the company that I'm using is called Nano Nation, and now they actually have a version of a smart sign where they're using these Android devices as the media player to drive the sign instead of PCs. So Android computing, I think, is kind of on a trend, you know, outside of just using, you know, Android tablets. But I really think that if you're a student and you're doing online education, and for whatever reason you can't afford a full-fledged PC, or if you don't really have time to get to a library or somewhere to use the PC, I really think this would be a viable option in accessing online content. Depending on what LMS is being used, some LMSs are platform generic that are accessible via mobile devices. So this really could be a solution in a situation where finances is really not at a premium. And I guess we didn't get Oliver back. So I wanted to share these with you guys, because I'm going to continue to. I have a project that set up a internet cafe in our amenities build, student amenities building. Set up about 10 stations that are Android kiosks where students can come in and browse the internet. And so I have a proposal out there that I'm trying to get funding to make that happen.
Unmuted. So, John or Jennifer or Cindy, what are your thoughts about this? Any ideas or potential, or have you seen or used anything like this with some of your clients?
This is Jennifer. I have not seen any of this before, but I think this is awesome. I think it has great potential, and I would love to follow up. I came in a little bit late, so I want to go back and view the whole presentation, but from what I've seen so far, it seems wonderful.
Okay. And Jennifer, you know, feel free to connect with me, you know. if there's, you know, if you think there's some validity in this and you want to, you know, you want to experiment with it.
I would. I think it might have. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Felton.
I have a couple of leads, you know, that I purchased to experiment with. You know, I'm glad to mail you one.
Okay. I think one of our biggest issues is connectivity within our counties, and I'm wondering if this might be something that's useful and helpful, not just for some of our clientele that would be in the county, but even some of our extension educators might enjoy this.
Now, David brought up connectivity. Now, connectivity is still an issue, and very much an issue in the Delta here in Mississippi, because these are inexpensive devices. This one I'm holding in my hand, I believe I paid $38 for. It does not come with a data plan.
Okay.
So for internet access, you would still need some means of connecting to the internet. But it has 8 gigs of memory built into it, and information can be preloaded. If there's specific types of information that you're trying to disseminate, get to some of your clients, you can preload that information via video, text, PowerPoint, PDFs, and if they already have a flat screen television, and most flat screen televisions probably in the past 5 years have HDMI connect plugs on them. They can actually plug this in, use a regular mouse and keyboard, which is also inexpensive, and pull that information up, you know, for viewing. So, you know, that's one of the ways I've been discussing the possibility of use with our ADEC extension officers.
Thank you.
This is Cindy, and it looks really interesting to me. I'm actually going to see if I can just purchase one of the cheaper devices and do some testing with it.
Yeah, it's really neat, you know. And again, if you have a smartphone, be it a Apple or Android, you know, it's going to be very familiar because it looks just like the Android operating system on an Android smartphone. Actually, it's the same operating system, actually. So
this is John. I haven't seen this before either. The first thing that struck me as you were going through it was you could use it you could create apps for it, just like a phone, it seems like, because a lot of apps are made for Android as well. So if you had ag-specific apps that you could download from the internet and then take them out into the field and use them in the field without internet connection, that might be another way to use it.
Yeah, that is correct. Yeah, even with the Microsoft Office apps that will allow you to open any Office document as well as PowerPoint. You know, once the app is downloaded, and if you was going to preload this and provide it for use, all that can be preloaded, the apps, to where it's already on the device.
Right.
Yeah.
Felton, this is Oliver. I'm back again. Sorry for dropping off. So could it be possible that if you come back from a field trip, let's say, and you connect to the internet through the Wi-Fi on campus or wherever, once you have Wi-Fi capabilities again, that certain things could be updated, so you could actually update information automatically? Is that a feature or an option?
Yeah, because all the devices have built-in Wi-Fi capability. Some of the ones, like the larger one I showed you, this one also has Ethernet capabilities where you can actually plug it into a network, but they all come with Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. This one has Bluetooth.
That's cool.
Yeah, and just like a computer, with my larger one, I'm actually using a wireless keyboard. This is the dongle, and I'm using a Wi-Fi keyboard with it. So any off-the-shelf USB keyboard or Wi-Fi keyboard, I've been able to get all those to work with the devices.
Well, and you could even do a Bluetooth device then, right, if they have Bluetooth built in.
I do Bluetooth keyboard as well, yes. Yeah. You know, I have a couple of them at home that I'm using. I've turned one into a like a media server, to where I could, you know, I've been loading movies, and so I can connect to it, and use my then I have one plugged into one of my televisions, so I'm streaming music from one of the devices to the device that I have in my television. I experimented with one to use it as a security camera. I plugged in a USB webcam, and then while I was at work, you know, I set it up through my router, and I was able to connect to that USB webcam through my router. So, and that experiment, I was trying to see if I could actually use it, if I'm using it for distance education, could I actually use a webcam with it? And that worked perfectly. And some of the little bit more expensive ones actually come with built-in webcams. So,
how often do you have to recharge it?
Now, none of them are battery powered. This one here actually uses the 5 volts that that's similar to your smartphone. Actually, your charger with your smartphone would power this.
Okay.
This one here, because it has a little bit more horsepower, it uses a little larger power supply. But the smaller ones use the same power source like your smartphones. And on flat screen televisions that have USB ports on them, a lot of them do. The ones that I have at home on my flat screens, I'm actually getting power from my television to power it up.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Oh, it looks really interesting.
So, I do have one more thing I want to share with you guys, and I'm sorry because I was thinking that I had about 30 more minutes. I didn't plug it into my PowerPoint. Hold on. You guys can still see my desktop?
Yep.
Okay. It's not on there. But I want to show another device. This is a demo that I got from the manufacturer. And most of you guys may be familiar with virtual desktop computing. Yes? No?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yes.
This company has been around for probably about 10 years in computing, and one of the things they specialize in is virtual desktop computing. And about 3 years ago, I was investigating in converting our computer labs to virtual desktops. instead of putting full-fledged workstations in them. But the up cost was really expensive. It was going to cost me about $50,000 to refresh one computer lab of about 30 computers into a virtual desktop. Though that was going to be a one-time cost, it was still a pretty substantial cost for the conversion. And when you can purchase workstations now, you know, for about $800, including, you know, the computer and the monitor. So this company here has developed a virtual desktop system around this box. And what this box does, for this box is running $155 for this box. And what this box does, it plugs into a computer monitor, keyboard, and mouse, all plugs into this. And you put this box on your network, and it connects to a server that runs the virtual software. And so at the terminal or the workstation, it virtually becomes a dummy terminal. You know, there's nothing there but a monitor, this box, and a keyboard and a mouse. All the software is running remotely on a server. So what makes this system different, I can outfit a 30-computer lab for about somewhere between $7,000 to $8,000, opposed to purchasing 30 full-fledged workstations. And then in terms of maintenance and support, a tech would only have to support the virtual server that's running all those instances of a desktop. So one person virtually could manage several computer labs based around this technology. And I visit a couple of schools, primary schools in the area that have several labs. One school, they have a lab with 25 of these units, and another school have a lab about 45. And my last conversation with the manufacturer, we have a school system here in Mississippi, is about to outfit this whole school system, all its schools, including the office, what you call an office that run a local school district, the superintendent, what an office that's located. So they're gonna replace virtually all their desktop computers and run these virtual units. I have not been able to find, and when we set this up to do a test, I was really impressed with the response, you know, compared to a full-fledged workstation. There was no lag. I didn't experience any hiccups, anything like that. One of the only problems I would look at is since if you have a computer lab with 30 computers running in a virtual environment with these devices, it all goes back to one server. So if that server has a problem or goes out, then you lose your whole lab. That was the only problem. But with the cost of setting up a computer lab of 30 computers, and that includes the server, for a price range somewhere between $6,000 and $7,000, you almost could afford to purchase an additional server for backup. Because my thinking is, and I'm trying to sell this to my provost, and outfitting all our computer labs with these devices, in terms of support and maintenance and overhead, I think in the long run we would save a bit of money. So this is something I wanted to share with you guys also. And if you're interested in more information about this, I can put you in contact with the manufacturer, and they will be willing to do a little webinar in showing you the functionality of it. And if you're interested, they will send you a demo device too to have your IT people play with it. So I'm sorry I didn't have more information posted on my computer to show you how it's connected, but virtually this would replace your desktop, your computer. You would have this box, and you may have seen something like this because they're very popular, I found, in doctor's offices. But the difference with this one I have found in terms of cost, other solutions I've looked at are 3 to 4 times as much in outfitting a complete computer lab environment. At $150 a pop, this is a lot cheaper than every other solution I looked at in setting up a virtual desktop environment.
Well, I can also see that you will have better control over what actual users can access in terms of software and internet access and all of that stuff, so you can restrict and tailor it to your needs, right?
You have complete control of that. Even in a classroom environment or a computer lab, that depending on what the situation is, the instructor at his workstation, if you have students working on something, he can actually grab that student's workstation, virtual environment, and bring it to his desk and see exactly what the student is working on, and with no interference with the student's activities. Or you can collaborate with that student at their workstation from your workstation. And this would, I remember in China, one of the presenters showed a mobile lab environment. I think this would serve in a great solution for a mobile lab because of the cost and the flexibility in managing it. Because virtually the way it works is you would put one instance of, say, Microsoft Office on the server computer, and then that would be duplicated across all those computers. So you wouldn't be actually going to each computer setting up, an environment with applications. All that would be done one time on the server on the master computer.
Great.
Any questions? Okay.
Okay, it looks like there are no questions. Thank you very much, Felton. I think that both of what you've showed us is really a great tools to get basically technology out there and bring it to students or extension units or like without significant costs associated with it. So it's really a cost cutting, a very effective way to reach out to underserved areas or areas that simply do not have access to the technology.
Yeah.
Okay, are there any other questions for Felton or comments?
No, thank you, Felton.
No, thank you. Thank you.
Good job. Thanks.
So since we get close to the end of today's program panel, I first wanted to mention that we have our next program panel on December 10th at 4 p.m. East Coast time, and we'll spread the word shortly about that. And I encourage everybody to join in again if you can make it. For that presentation, we will have a panel, Dave King and at least one other person who will present on third-party vendors and products. So, Dave, maybe you can mention a little bit more about that.
Well, it was a question that was raised at the last session by Mark Rieger, saying that at Delaware they were, looking for ways to understand how best to maintain a relationship or to identify a third-party vendor and then maintain a relationship. And so what we'll do on the 10th is bring some information about third-party relationship development, how to choose a vendor and things like that. And then if I can arrange it, I have a colleague who is, as I was saying earlier, worked for Pearson for a long time, then for Deltec, and now is at a smaller company. And he and I have had conversations, in fact, assembled presentations just on that topic. What's the vendor point of view? What's the university point of view when it comes to actually working with third-party vendors? And so we'll bring that to the December 10th session.
Okay.
I think it's an opportunity for any of us who have others in our offices that might find that of interest, or others that we know who are, contemplating or involved in that third-party vendor relationship, to bring them to the session also. Expand our sphere a little bit.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, thank you, Dave, and thanks again, Felton, for presenting today. That were some great insights, and Jennifer and Cindy, and I will certainly look into it as well. I have my own little media computer at home, but I think this is a very handy solution that is much more compact than setting up your own desktop computer for something like that. So thanks again, and I hope to see you all on December 10th then.
Okay.
Thank you.
All. Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you. Have a good
Thanks for
evening.
being patient.
Thanks,
care.
Oliver, for setting all this up. Talk to you later.
Sure.
Bye.
Take care, everybody. Bye.